exam is going to be 100 or the study guide is 100?
The study guide, good question. So we're going to go over the study guide, and that is 100 questions. The actual exam, which is next week, it will open up on Monday evening or morning, Monday morning early, and is due at noon on Wednesday, December 16th. That is 40 questions, and they are straight from the study guide. And it is 400 points. So it is a chunk of your grade. It is quite a few repeat questions from the midterm, but then some new stuff. And we're going to go over that. But the exam is 400 points. The study guide has 100 questions. The actual exam will have 40 questions. And with that, what I want to do, so we've got Noah, Nick, Daniel, and Belinda. Okay. So what we're going to do is I am going to give you guys a range of numbers in the study guide. And what I'm interested in you doing is looking at that range of numbers. For example, I think we'll go alphabetical. So like Daniel, I'm going to give Daniel the last 20. So question 80 to 100. And what Daniel's going to do is he's going to look at the study guide, questions 80 to 100. And what I want you to do is look at the ones, identify the ones you don't know the answers to. So look at those, go, okay, Daniel's looking, he goes, okay, if I know number 80, if you pretty much know the answer or know where you can get it pretty easily, then don't flag that. But if all of a sudden you're going, wow, question number 83, I don't know where that is. Circle that one, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to have you guys look at those numbers once we assign. Then we will go over those questions first. And then we might look at thumbnails and then come back to that just to have enough time. So let's see. We got Noah, you are questions 1 through, let's do 1 through 25.
Gotcha.
Then Nick, you are 25 to 50. Belinda, you are 50 to 75. And Daniel, you are 75 to 100. So look at the questions and see, pick out the ones you don't readily know the answers. So do that right now. Let's take, 5 minutes. Let's take 5 minutes or so, or however long it takes. Circle those on there, and then we will go over those together. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes or however long. Let's see if it takes 5 minutes, but look at those. I know one question we did not go over. We'll definitely go over that one, or I might get rid of it. Who knows? You guys finding something that you don't know?
Yeah, I found like 3,
Yeah.
I think.
Great. Okay. Anyone still working on it?
Yeah.
Still working? Okay, let's take a few more minutes. And there are some questions we did not go over in class. So there are definitely a couple, I won't say tricky ones, but ones that we did not directly go over in class, which we'll talk about. Anyone still working, identifying?
Yeah, still going through them.
Still going through? Okay. Okay. More minutes. Let's take one more minute. Okay. Let's discuss. Noah, what questions did you come upon in the first 25 that you didn't know the answer to?
Okay, so I would say number 6.
Number 6. Okay. Before we do that, let me just say, so the chapters in the book that are on the test are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. So chapters 5, 7, and 9 are not on the test, because we just really didn't get to there. And chapter 4 is really, we did not go over it in class, but it's in the lectures. So the lectures that I did in class on type crimes and the way to select two faces working together, like go with the family, consider the family, think about contrast, those 4, which we'll go over, I'm sure. And then the legibility, readability that we talked about in a lecture. So those are what? So Noah, what'd you say? Number 6?
Yeah.
Okay. So definitely, I tell you, almost every question that has, really the question is it a sans serif or serif? Is really what this question is trying to ask.
Okay.
So if it has anything sticking off a stroke, like a tail, a tag, that's another slang term for serif.
Okay.
Yep. And I ask that question a lot. I always ask Mr. Perry if I can give a 1-question final or 2 questions. And I have 2 typefaces, that one serif, one sans serif, and you have to identify those. And if not, you fail the whole class. He never lets me do that. But I think that's important. So I bet there's multiple questions like number 6. So the answer to number 6 is any type of embellishment makes it a serif font.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so here's further questions. Is a script font always serif or sans serif?
I have no idea.
That was all script fonts are serif fonts.
Okay.
In general. Decorative fonts can be either, but okay. Noah, what else you got? Which else didn't you know?
I would say question 21, it's a matching one.
Yeah. And you're right. Well, matching, true, false, and multiple choice. 21. Okay, yes.
21.
Okay, so this I may have gone over in the lecture. It is in, let's look at what chapter it's in. I think it's in chapter 4. Let's look. Contrast.
Like I can infer on some of them, but I just
yes. So yeah, so chapter 4, if everyone looks at, so the question is, what's a river, orphan, widow, rag? All those are questions about alignment. So that's in chapter 4, page 166. And so a river, which, I don't know that we went over in class, if you hit the justified text, one of the things that doesn't really look good is it creates these spaces that sort of in the paragraph look like rivers of space. So too much negative space. And that is from justified type. So that's number 2. So a river is gaps in word spacing that runs through multiple lines of text. So that is, river is number 2. An orphan is also in that same general area. That is on chapter 4, page 169. Widows and orphans can be somewhat interchangeable, and people do use them, but a widow is on top of a paragraph and an orphan is on the bottom. So widow is number 1. Sorry, orphan is number 1, word on top of a paragraph, and widow is number 4, Roman number 4, which is at the, hanging out from the bottom of the paragraph. Is that right? Yes. And then a rag is the uneven side if you have aligned the text right or left, then one side is uneven, and that is the ragged side or the rag side. And that is also in chapter 4. Right in that same area, 166, 167, although I don't see it. But it is in that same area. So it's the ragged edge. It's abbreviation for the ragged edge. Yeah, page 166. And I'm sure I will ask the widow. That's a good chance that's going to be on the final, because the widow and orphan thing is important. Okay. Noah, what else?
And then the last one that I thought was 24.
24, okay. So very small text, less than 5 points. How do you make that more legible? Let's see. So what chapter is that in? That might be in chapter 6. Let's look. No, that's grids. It is in chapter 7, which I just said wasn't going to be on the test. Oh, okay. That's a mistake. Because I guess the spacing is all in. You know what? That's also a lecture I did. So that is in there. It's also in a lecture. That is in chapter 7. Might have to amend my, we're not, chapter 7's not on the test. Let's see, where else is that? That should be under maybe legibility and readability. I'll look that up. Where is that? Trying to get it so we can find. Okay, that's a tough one, Noah. Okay, so I'm going to have to look up where that is. Number 24. So I need to find that one myself. Very small text. So let's discuss. Noah, what do you think the answer might be? So you're trying to make it more legible.
Okay, so like easier read. So I would
go ahead.
I would just say probably letter spacing, because if it's small, then it's probably tight as well. So I would say overall letter spacing.
Okay, and that is the right answer. Yep. So one of the things to know, to remember, is legibility is about display fonts. Can you read the headline? And readability is about paragraphs of text. So if you're trying to make something more legible, then yes, the letter spacing will definitely help. Whereas, like, for example, C, changing the space between lines, is more about readability. Tracking is also more about readability. Outlining the stroke, possible, but yeah, that's, so B is the answer. Okay. I'm going to find where that is, though, because that is not, I can't find it. Noah, any other ones?
No, I think that was it. You kind of answered one of the earlier questions about legibility versus readability. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 4 questions, that 9 through 12. Definitely one of those is going to be on there. And the key is to know that legibility, and I have to say it is confusing. It's easy to confuse them. Legibility is about headlines and display font. And readability is about body copy or paragraphs of text. Okay, let's see who was. So we have Noah. Nick, you're next.
Yep. I had a few questions in the 30s.
Okay.
I didn't remember an M or an N.
You know, we really didn't go through that. That's the whole hyphen thing.
So
we
for
can go-
example,
yeah.
number 30.
Yeah. So for number 30, interesting enough, is the M and the N things are trick answers. And 1 pica equals 12 points. So that has nothing to do with the M or the N.
Okay.
That was tricky there. Sorry about that. So the number 30 and 31 are really about picas and points versus the M or the N. But then the M and the N is talking about the different types of dashes. So you have hyphens and dashes, and an M is the size of a lowercase m, and an N is a dash half that size, the size of a lowercase n. It's a little hard to distinguish between those two. And it's showing the different types of, and there's quite a few questions, when do you use a, hyphen? When do you use a M hyphen and N hyphen? And where is that? That is in, pretty good explanation of that. I'm going to have to find where that is too. I thought that was in chapter 3. I'll have to look that up. Does anyone know where the whole M and N dashes are?
I'm unaware.
Okay. I will look that up as well. That is, so question 32 and 33, I need to find where they are in the book. They're in there. Where are they in the book? Okay. Nick, what else? Say again, Belinda?
They're in chapter 2.
Chapter 2? Okay. What page?
56.
56. All right. There it is. The M and the N. Different types of spaces are right in there. Perfect. Page 56. Okay. Also right next to point size, point, pica. Okay. Thank you, Belinda. Nick, what else? What other questions did you have in that section?
I think it was range of header types doesn't have ranges for the numbers on them.
Oops, which question is that?
37.
37.
Like the one, number 36 has a range for all its options, and then 37 just has.
You're right. Okay. Good.
I would assume the larger for a header.
Right.
Either way, but.
I will, let me fix that. So number 37 is just not, there's no range. There's no right answer. It's hard to do perfect tests. Okay. Below that, on question 38 and 39, they will definitely be questions like that on the test. Which letters have ascenders, which letters have descenders, that type of thing.
Multiple choice, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's all that applies. So for example, number 39, Nick, which one of those have ascenders? Letters.
T and B.
T and B, right. So there's two. Okay.
Mhm.
Number 38, there's only one. The Y is the only one with a descender.
Right.
Okay. What else?
I think that's all I had.
Okay. There definitely will be a question on explore the past, embrace the other, rely on the family, seek the similar. That number 41 is pretty lengthy, but there's several questions on those things. So that will definitely be on there. There will definitely be questions from chapter 1 about typeface designers and eras. Okay, so Nick, did you have number 44 in yours?
Yeah. I was gonna look that up, but
we have never. It's not in the book, and we've never gone over that, and so that question will not be on the exam. So you can just take number 44. Will not be on there. I don't know where that's from. That will not be on there. If it's in the book, I haven't found it. I have certainly not discussed it. Gaelic is a type of language, I believe, in Ireland. But we did not discuss that. Okay. Who is next? Belinda, were you next?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Like questions 47, 48, it'll, highlight section of a letter saying what type of anatomy. Definitely will be some questions like that. Okay. Belinda, what questions did you not know the answer to?
54, 55, and 56.
Okay. Okay, so those are all from chapter 8. And we did not go over chapter 8 in this class. We did not design a typeface. So those will not be on the test.
Okay.
Yep. Great. It's good you could look through chapter 8. That's pretty advanced. I wish Rowan Community College had another type class, but this is the only type class. You guys will go over chapter 8 in one of your in design 3, design 2, one of those. Okay. What else, Belinda?
74.
Okay, well, let's look at that. So that is from a lecture. So it is not necessarily in the book, although I think it is in the book in chapter 4 or 7. Although we're not doing chapter 7. So what's wrong with those two paragraphs of text? So we're saying they're not very legible, or they're not very readable because it's body copy. What is making them not readable? Do you think?
I get kerning and tracking mixed up, so I'm not really sure.
Okay, so that's it. So you've eliminated, obviously C is wrong because there's only one typeface.
Yeah.
And mismatching fonts, there's only one typeface. So great. It's got to be either tracking or kerning. So kerning is the space between letters specifically, and tracking is the space between words, although sometimes it also includes the space between letters and this. So kerning is only really used in display text, display fonts, so headlines, where this is a sentence. So tracking is what's used to determine the space between words and letters in a paragraph or sentence. So tracking is the right answer.
Okay.
Okay. And that is in chapter 4.
I'm sorry, but that looks more like a kerning issue then, because the spacing between the words looks appropriate, but I feel like it's the spacing between
Between
the
the letters.
letters that looks too tight or too loose in both images. So wouldn't it be kerning?
Except and you know, it is somewhat tricky. In kerning, you're just fixing the space between letters and not changing the space between the words. My goal in that question was trying to show that the space between the words was also too much, too loose. So yes, you are right. The majority of it, but see, if you're adjusting a paragraph, you don't go in and adjust the kerning. You go in and adjust the tracking. That's tricky. Okay. Tracking, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at page 170, and I was trying to duplicate the example there. The example in the book is a little bit better. Okay, so I might need to alter that a little bit, but that was my idea. I was trying to show tracking versus kerning. Because kerning is really more for headlines, whereas tracking is you're changing this space between letters in the word and between words if you're using the tracking as well. Does that make sense at all, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I might make that a little bit more obvious. Okay. Belinda, what else?
That was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
So those couple questions like 75 and 76 are from that lecture type crimes as well. Okay. Daniel, what questions did you have in 75 through 100?
I had questions about number 88, 94.
Let's look at 88.
Okay.
So we basically have two fonts. So we're trying to have it's obviously a comparison thing. Writing a headline, old, new, trying to pick two fonts. And so basically they're saying what, this is coming back to that question. It's very similar to the question 41, either exploring the past, embracing the other, relying on family, or seeking the similar. And let's see, 88. And applying from that, so you're talking about why would she pick these two fonts, Baskerville and Futura? So what do we got here? D, I'd rule that out because I'm definitely giving you an answer.
Yeah.
So are these transitional typefaces with a script typeface? Typeface in Baskerville or Futura? Is either one of those script?
Um,
It's okay if you don't know, but no,
No.
there's no script typeface. So obviously one serif, one sans serif. So eliminate answer D and C because there's no script typeface. So then two typefaces by the same designer. So do you think Futura and Baskerville were designed by the same designer?
I don't know.
Well, Baskerville was designed by, that's his last name.
Yeah.
Nick, you did Futura, right?
Yep.
Poster? Who designed Futura?
Oh my God, his name is blanking.
Paul Renner,
God.
right?
Renner.
Yes.
Paul Renner. Yeah.
Paul Renner. Oh yeah, I put you on the spot. Sorry about that. So obviously number B is by the same designer is wrong because one was Paul Renner. And again, this is a hard question. It takes learning a few things. So one was Baskerville and one was Paul Renner. And so just by elimination, number A is correct. So somewhat similar geometric principles in that, for example, the E in Futura is round, it is circular, and the O and E are round and circular. They're not square typefaces. So that's a tough question. That takes a couple different chapters to answer that one. So that's a tough one. What else? So 80, that's 88.
94 or 95.
I will definitely have a question like number 89 with the different lines, talking about the different lines. Would you say 90 what?
94 or 95.
94, 95. Okay, this comes back to the dashes, the hyphens, the hyphen versus the in dash versus the m dash. And you know, this is a hard question to write. So for 94, we're trying to say of the four things, the phone number, the time, the date, the time with PM, the time with the zeros, and the date, which is correct? Which one did I use correctly? So of those, which do you think is looking right, just in general?
I would say C, but...
And C is correct. So, for example, the phone number one, usually you use, it's supposed to be the in dash. Although that's not quite right. No, the phone number is the hyphen. Then the time with PM is supposed to be the in dash, and I used an M dash. And the date, 1994-95, is supposed to be the in dash, and I used the hyphen. So that's tricky. So C is the correct answer. What about 95? What do you think is the correct one? So that's a different, that's numbers. Now we're trying to do splitting a word.
I would say blue-green.
And that is correct. Right.
Okay. And
yeah, okay.
Last one was really just 100, but that's like...
right. What are some things you might, obviously there are multiple answers to this. What are some things you might tell a non-designer? Someone's doing a newsletter and you're trying to give them a little coaching. To easy type things.
Probably tell them about like type hierarchy.
Hierarchy, that'd be a good one, right? Okay.
Tell them the benefits about using a grid.
Grid, okay, good.
Tell them about kerning and tracking.
Okay. That's pretty advanced, but we could throw that in there for a non-designer, sure. What about number of fonts? What would you give them to use in let's say a document?
Like a max of 2 to 3.
2, 3. Okay, that'd be a good one.
Tell them about like what works best as like a header, so like a display font.
Just display versus body copy font, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone got a couple other? That's good, Daniel. Those would all be correct answers. Noah, you got any other answers on non-designer type tips?
I would say like not to like make sure that's scaled properly, like not to stretch fonts out, like bodies of text.
That's a big one. Good to tell them. Yep. Keep the font the way it is. Don't stretch it.
Use limited amount of colors. Don't get too busy with that.
Right. Okay.
I can't remember if Daniel said this, but like, look out for hyphens, like widows. Try.
Yeah.
Yeah, widows and orphans.
On the color thing, I would remind a non-designer mainly to make sure that they have good contrast. Like, don't use yellow on white. Don't use purple on a black background. Make sure you can actually read it or see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anything like that. Obviously, multiple, pick 5, and there's lots of ones to pick from.
Okay.
Okay. As we've gone through this, anyone have any other ones they've seen that they want to look at?
Oh, where is it? number 96, I know we talked about that, I think last class, seemed kind of like a trick question because it was like you could do both kind of deal. It was there should be at least two spaces after a period in sentences. Now, I know you said you used to do that long ago, and it's not so much it's not a requirement. So like you could do one space after a period. Like that seems to be commonplace now. But
Correct. Yeah.
but two spaces was not exactly frowned upon. And I remember doing two spaces after a period in like middle school and high school and things like that. So I would assume the answer for 96 would be false.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Just wanted to double check on that one.
Yeah. So yes, the old way was two spaces. Now we're doing one space. But that has changed pretty recently in the last 10 years. Okay. So we're running a little bit out of time. So with that, what we're going to do is you guys look through the study guide. I suggest finding the correct answers. On Wednesday, I will also take questions on if you don't know, you're worried about not knowing the answer. So come up with new lists for that. And with that, let's very quickly, if we can, look at y'all's thumbnails for the menu. Daniel, you got your thumbnails ready to share and pull up?
Yeah, I can go ahead and show them.
Okay. So you were doing Drink Wisconsinly, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I decided to do a full drink menu.
Okay. So which one of
Um,
these and this, which ones, tell us which ones you like so far. I know you got another page.
on this page, I think I would like to do uh this one right here, if you can see my mouse,
Yep.
and probably the one with the one that has the Wisconsin state like shape outline, and it'd have
Okay.
the logo in front.
Okay. That's a good idea.
And then I also like this one, the one with the wine bottle and the wine glass,
Okay.
and then it would have like a little banner over it. Obviously, you couldn't show it with pencil, but
Well, sure.
yeah,
Oh, which back design do you like?
yeah. And for back design, I really liked the one right next to the wine one.
Okay.
I also like this one in the bottom left corner, and then the one right next to it.
Okay. And I think I looked at your thumbnails. You had some, did you make up those drink names?
No, so I actually just went on the website and they had like all it looked like most of their drinks and all of their cocktails are special.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
why they all had like unique names and like descriptions.
Okay. I thought maybe you'd made those up because I thought, okay, wow, these are a lot of different drink names. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like I mean, all those are good choices. Let's say you like this one with the wine bottle and the wine glass in the upper left-hand corner, but you also, the whole state thing is a good idea.
Mm.
You could always combine that. You could always, I mean, you don't put ice in wine, but you could always stick, you know, the shape of Wisconsin in your menu somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, on the label, you can make an ice cube, the shape of Wisconsin. I don't know. Okay. Okay, let's look at Belinda. You want to show your thumbnails?
Sure.
So tell us what you're thinking.
Different things. This one here, adding the fries to it just to do a visual kind of thing. You can see the fries. And then I kind of designed the front and the back together.
Oh, okay.
So they'd be cohesive. Yeah. Like these two are together, and then these two.
Oh, okay. Are you going to continue to use? Are you going to use more of the pictures of the actual fries? Like you,
Yes,
I know you didn't use them all. Are you going to use them and the onion rings?
I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use the actual picture. Like if I choose like this one, I'm gonna use the actual picture. Or there's another one I have that I'm gonna use the actual picture. I'm gonna put them in the background, and so you can still see the fries, but they're not like dominant on the menu.
Okay. If you have Lord of the Fries, I mean, you don't have to have that. I mean, obviously you'd have to have it on the front, most likely. But if you have it on the front, you wouldn't have to repeat it on the back.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, all these could work.
Okay.
Okay. And do you have a favorite at all?
Not right now.
Not right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nick, you want to share your thumbnails?
Sure. Okay. Started off with some simple designs. I did the bottom right one a couple times because I liked having the notes down the sides.
Okay.
There it is again on the bottom middle.
Right. That's a good idea.
I did like that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I also on the last page, I did like kind of doing the name in a score almost.
Huh.
I kind of liked using notes in the letters as well on the right side there for the column 9.
That's a good idea. And since it goes with your primary, music note word mark. Okay.
And like that, like using the score and then using the notes is kind of like
okay.
Title
Okay.
keynotes.
That's a good idea. Okay. You leaning toward that, you think?
I mean, I really wanted to incorporate the ladle design in one, and so it could be I don't know if I'd have room to do. I could probably shrink down like these here to be one page maybe, and then have the ladle note as like the front. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I also kind of liked the notes as letters as well. So I'm like really stuck between the two, or maybe not having the ladle note. I think the ladle note would be like a really good icon on its own, really good like symbol, standalone symbol.
Yeah, I mean, you have the front and back. You could sort of emphasize, the symbol of the ladle in the front and go with the more of score and music notes on the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But we're doing 2 roughs.
Right.
I just looked at. So you could sort of go with 2 different concepts. Okay. Okay, good. Good ideas. And let's see. Noah, share your thumbnails.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say that the ones I like the most are the 1st, 3rd, and 5th. For the reason that I like the 5th one because it brings in elements I didn't get to use in my logo, which
with the drum and stuff.
Yeah. I like the third one because I know it would look good, because I've seen a very similar one to it, having like pieces of driftwood behind each of the headers, and then I would have custom bullet points for all the food or the menu items. The first one would also, I think, look good because it kind of matches the elements used in my logo, that being like the palm tree, kind of Pacific-y vibe, or not Pacific, Caribbean vibe. There's other ones in here that I could work, but those were the three that I was most impressed with using.
Okay. So you know what? I thought for sure you would have done one with the monkey falling. You know, the monkey thing. You don't want to do one of those?
Actually, it's the seventh one. It's not very clear. With that one, I'd actually include a little bit more animals, such as like a lizard, and probably include the monkey in the bottom, like the actual like menu part. But the monkey is actually on the front side of it.
Oh, there it is. Ah,
yeah.
The monkey, the big monkey. Oh, and cropped in. Okay, yes. Okay. Because that was such a great shape. I mean, the palm tree is a good shape. The coconut's a good shape. But the monkey, I felt, was a very good shape on your word mark. Okay, I see it. So you did. Okay. I mean, all those are good ideas. The driftwood, interesting. Would they be drawings of driftwood or photos?
I think I might. Ooh. So if I think I'd go more photorealistic with that one. So I'd probably use actual pieces of driftwood for that. Photographs, because I think that'd look a little bit better with an image that I'd be using for the background.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure you want to make sure it looks good with your logo, because your logo has those icons: the tree, the coconut, and the monkey. So just make sure those actually
work well with it.
Work well together.
Okay.
Yeah. Just make sure that's, as you're doing your rough, maybe do that as one of your roughs, and maybe do your other rough could either be the monkey one with the animals, or the drum one with the icons that are sort of funsy. So maybe in two roughs, give yourself a very different choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, unshare yours. I want to, we're going a little bit over, but I want to show. Did you guys look at the examples? I want to show the examples, which I don't think, if I can show them very quickly. Especially, I want to show this one, yeah. Okay. let me take over the screen real quick. I want to show you very quickly just some of the examples. If this is the right one. Oh yeah, can you guys see this menu?
Yes.
So this is a back of a menu from a previous class, and on the front, and I don't have this showing, they had this very polarized image of Jimi Hendrix's face. And it was called Jimmy's Psychedelic. But what's interesting is, in the back's pretty simple. So he repeated the front and then used a gradient and then basically did type. I mean, so I just want to say that this is one of the examples where it's a lot of type. Now he was very funny about the names of all, he made these up about the names of the items. So that is a choice. Let me go back. share another one. And these are on the blackboard. Let's see. This one is. I need to name these. Another example. So this is sort of going down Noah's your thing where you have an icon. In his case, this was the cloud raining into the cup, but then he separated those out and used the cup separately and the cloud separately. So again, using the icons is a good idea. So he just took the cup out of that. Let me show you guys a couple more. No, we're sort of running over time. Let's see what this one is. Here's the whole. So in this example, it's one thing I want to show you. So the first example I showed you was what he did for me in class, which you can see is different from all these. So when he did this project for me in class in typography, he did just the front and back of the menu, tall, just like we've talked about. But then when he got to portfolio, he expanded it and did this whole threefold menu. And so I'm trying to just put things in your head for the future, and that if you like a project in the past, don't just dump everything and try to do things new in your portfolio. You can expand things from typography or earlier classes into a larger portfolio piece. And then he did other things for the restaurant too. And so you can see he did an expansion of the tall, thin menu, and then turn it into the threefold. So I just wanted to mention that to you. Okay. Any questions for the project? So the deadlines are, we're trying to have roughs by this. I've lost my sheet. Roughs by this Wednesday, I believe, correct?
I'm checking.
I think so. Yes. I know I'm trying to look at.
Yeah. 2 roughs by Wednesday, yeah. 9.
Two roughs by Wednesday. Yeah, for some reason I have deadlines. I don't. Here we go. Yeah. The roughs Wednesday, and then Sunday we're trying to turn the final in, 2-sided. Okay. So Wednesday we will go over any questions that you have on the exam, anything you've come up with that you can't find in the study guide, and we will look at roughs. Okay, sorry we went over, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.